Somewhere unknown, not marked anywhere on any map, lies several square miles of seemingly regular forest. There is absolutely no life contained in this forest, except for a few sightings of creatures deemed Minodians by the few who have claimed to have encountered these beings. Minodians appear to be tall, grey, lumbering creatures with no heads. Very few have seen these entities and lived to describe them. They roam the forest and tend to slowly stalk their victims within the thicket, making no sudden movements. Once these creatures get in a close enough radius to a human, the human supposedly obtains a desirable urge to come into contact with a Minodian. Some theorize victims gain an unfounded sense of enlightenment, leading them to want to interact with the Minodian. If you make physical touch with a Minodian, you have just made the biggest mistake of your now endless life. The smallest physical contact with a Minodian will lock you within a mental hell, where Satan is your own conscience. Instantaneously, you will become blind, deaf, mute, anosmic, loss of smell, and completely hypoesthetic, loss of physical feeling. You are now locked within your own head, trapped behind the bars of your true self. You are completely isolated from everyone and everything. No perception or physical feelings of any kind can be felt anymore. Within minutes of the Minodian curse, your imagination will be lost. No images or pictures can be drawn on the canvas known as the mind. The sudden aphantasia leads you to be entirely alone with your own words and ideas. At this point, no distinction can be made between life and death. You are imprisoned indefinitely with just yourself. In this state, victims of the curse will inevitably lose their minds and begin to become intensely demented and deranged. There is no way to be saved. Not even the release of physical death can release you from your psychological death. If you see a strange, grey, slightly humanoid creature in an otherwise seemingly empty forest, leave immediately, or spend an eternity contemplating your decision not to. Victims of Minodians are never seen or heard from again after their unlucky encounter. After experiencing the Minodian curse, you will be permanently lost, both physically and, especially, mentally. Minodians have been named after the Greek king Minos. Minos tasked Daedalus with constructing a labyrinth which would be home to a Minotaur. After building this labyrinth, Daedalus and his son, Icarus, were banished to roam the labyrinth due to being the only ones with the knowledge of the labyrinth's secrets. The two were trapped with the deadly Minotaur. Daedalus and his son, however, built wings using feathers and wax, which allowed them to escape. In the Minodian curse, the Minotaur is yourself. Your own conscience is your only ally, along with being your inescapable end. Unlike Daedalus and Icarus, there is no escape for you. You will be forced to endlessly wander the walls of your own psyche. You are eternally trapped in the human's greatest tool and worst enemy, the mind.